Sony looking at a fourth year of losses, and the fourth one might be the worst of all. Emily Chasan is here with us.
Hi.
Can't get rid of you, Emily. You gotta have
I
you
know,
on.
gotta come back.
Gotta come back. Let's talk about Sony. What are they expecting, and why? Why such a bad loss?
So Sony's not really having a great year. This is the fourth time this year that fourth time this year that they've cut their forecast, and this was kind of a doozy. They doubled about how bad it's going to be. So they said it's 6.4 billion loss is what they're forecasting this year. They haven't turned a profit in 4 years. They're having a lot of competition from Apple. But what was interesting was that this is sort of a non-cash charge that they had to take, and that's the reason they had to do it. It was on their tax assets in the U.S., which says a lot about how profitable their U.S. unit's going to be.
Right. It's interesting to see the stock is actually up. Here in the U.S., the ADS is actually up. We talked about Nokia before, and it seems to me that Nokia and Sony are kind of in the same place, where you're talking about companies that once upon a time were colossus. They strode the earth. Now the competition has caught up with them. They have fallen behind. You mentioned they missed product cycles, and they're just scrambling to catch up.
Yeah, it was funny. I was at a party with the treasurer of the U.S. unit of Sony a few years ago, and everyone was coming up to her asking for, when can I get the PlayStation? How can you help me get one? And I don't know that they've had that in the past few years. And so actually it's interesting with their tax assets, they had this, big benefit that they were expecting to be able to offset future taxes. And then they're like realizing we're not going to be profitable in the U.S. for a while, so we're going to have to write that down.
Well, and this is not only the fourth time this year that Sony has guided, but the fourth year in a row it's going to record a loss. I mean, who's got any confidence in Sony at this point? And is there a better strategy for them? Selling patents, trying to unwind the company? Is there a
Well, that's funny because actually the people who have confidence in Sony is Sony. They think that next year in 2013 they're going to turn a profit finally. So in fiscal 2013, and not when they report results in May for this year, obviously, because of the 6.4 billion loss. But in 2013 they expect a small profit, not in the U.S. but overall as a company. I think they're talking about maybe they'll start looking at whether they should raise some capital, some stocks.
Even if they do post a loss, a gain, a profit next year, you're still talking about, over a 5-year period, a lot of ground that they have lost.
And what's the killer app that they are going to be able to bring in? I mean, they're losing ground. Apple's going to get into the TV business. Do you want to fight that fight?
Well, they won't talk about it.
Okay, they're not talking about it.
Well, how do you compete against an Apple with all that cash and all that might? And you walk past the Sony store and you see
and the cachet to the name. I mean, who wants to? Who's sitting here saying, gosh, I got to go get the new Sony product, the same way people are saying, as soon as that next Apple product cycle comes in, I'm going to be a buyer.
Well, they also had that problem with the cyber attack earlier this year, too, on their systems, and so I think they lost a lot of their core fan base from that, and it's been hard for them to rebuild it. But, they're hoping for 2013 profit. I guess we'll see.
All right, we'll see. All right. Thank you, Emily Chasan.
Thank you very
much.